Today we're going to talk about positioning, but not just positioning and where to be, but also how it's dynamic and your positioning strategy needs to change almost moment to moment in certain situations. We'll go ahead and walk through a few different examples of what to be paying attention to and how to modify your positioning strategy according to what's going on in the arena. It's important to know that good positioning, the best positioning, can drive players insane. This turret that eliminates me has the world's best positioning ever. I still can't figure out where it gets me from. I've watched this clip 150 times. I've reversed it. I've slowed it down. I've looked from every angle. It does not exist. It has the world's best positioning. You can see here the red laser of where it was right as I get eliminated. But if you actually scroll back and you look from those angles, it is nowhere to be found anywhere in the area. Let us all try and learn from Terry the Turret on what good positioning is, so we can be the most effective possible in combat. Okay, on to the real tips and tricks now. But seriously, where was the turret? Some of the biggest drivers for where you need to position yourself are the cash out that you're defending and or attacking, and whether or not your team is up. When you're the last player alive on a team defending your cash out, your positioning strategy has to be super cautious and very passive. Your goal is not to get eliminations at that point. Your goal is to hide from sight and only peek the cash out when it's actively being stolen. Until then, you need to play safe and ensure that your teammates have a chance to coin and get back to help you. With a game as dynamic as this one, you really have to keep an eye out for every possible detail that will help you to understand to reposition. In this case, you might not catch it right away, but you'll notice that I suddenly find a reason to need to reposition. When you watch this back, you'll notice there's a shadow that pops out on the left-hand side that starts to move through the empty space, and that tells me that something is falling nearby, and that's what causes me to have to look and change my positioning strategy here. Another big driver of when you need to reposition is when you're under a lot of constant fire and you don't have a safe place to be. In this situation, your goal is to get yourself to safety, and doing that means eliminating the minimum amount of players required until you can do that. In this case, it's getting the light picked and then getting myself behind this concrete wall, and that's what's driving my need to be in this position. I can tell my teammate he's about to get himself into trouble, and so as I see my health regenerating, I can pop back up and start to support him. When you're engaged in combat, you need to angle yourself and position yourself in the safest place possible for the enemy that is closest to you, which is usually the biggest threat. But don't forget about enemies in the distance either, because the second you take your eye off of them, they're going to take free shots on you and get an elimination from super far away. In this case, we're getting pushed from so many different angles that we're having to rotate our position constantly. If you're not willing to rotate and change your positioning in active combat, you are likely going to lose most of your fights. You have to be willing to do the rotation, and you have to be willing to find new positions as the need arises. Sometimes your teammates will get themselves into a less than optimal position. In those cases, if you have yourself in a safe place already, continue to provide cover and don't put yourself into an unsafe place just to try and get the res. Get the wipe first and then go pick up your teammate. Other things to consider when thinking about your positioning strategy is you also need to listen to sound cues. And you'd be surprised at how many times my positioning strategy will change simply from me hearing something. And hearing them made me know I needed to use my dome shield immediately. That gave us an additional layer of protection, and we were able to push back the team that thought they had the drop on us. Remember that every part of the map, every piece of geometry, every column, every box, every little thing placed on the map can be a source of your positioning strategy. It can be a great place to get yourself kept out of danger and allow you to be able to rotate, regen your health, do anything that you need to do to turn that fight in your favor. Additionally, keep an eye out for cues like smoke going off in the area. While super obvious, it gave us a great chance to get the full squad wipe here. In some cases, your teammates are going to be in a fight and they're going to get themselves low. In this case, if you're full on health like I am here, your positioning strategy needs to be to get the enemy's attention pulled onto you. So your teammate can do whatever they need to do to get their health regen. And in this case, you see I pull this enemy's attention away from my teammate who was low on health. Another driver of positioning is the score in the game. In this case, the pink team is in second and orange has the cash out. And so I go for a steal here, and I didn't expect this to happen. I give this heavy a ton of credit. The pink heavy recognizes that I'm stealing. My team is the one that's in first. If I steal this cash out, that means they are safe from getting knocked out. So this pink heavy actually full protects me, allowing me to steal the cash out so that they go through. And it's a great example of what good positioning means by paying attention to where you are in the scoreboard. And also, map events can also be drivers of positioning. In this case, I was really just experimenting, but I used the orbital laser strike to disperse the smoke from this fight, which was something I didn't know until that time. So using positioning, I was able to confirm that you can use orbital lasers to disperse smoke. Pretty cool. And then lastly, beyond just paying attention to your own positioning, you have to focus on where your teammates are, and you need to learn to try and rotate towards them when you get yourself in danger. In this case, I get myself in a ton of danger and I'm being absolutely sent by this team, but I continue to rotate into the safety of the dome shield from lock phase, hold up my mesh shield to protect myself, and continue rotating around my teammate, allowing them to protect me and get the elimination so that I'm safe. This is only just a few examples of the many different dynamics in this game that cause you to need to reposition, but hopefully this will help you get a baseline understanding of what to look for and what you should try and do in those situations. That's it for me today, y'all. Thanks for watching.